So when you went to the bench in 1965 as a judge of the Equity Court, you were to be there for a number of years before you ended up becoming Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of New South Wales in 1974. And you went to the bench quite happily, as you said yourself a few minutes ago. Was your father there to see it and to be proud of you?
Yes, he was very thrilled. He was very thrilled. I remember when I went in to tell him one morning, because he was semi-invalid at that stage. I said, well, Dad, I've got some good news. Your father was a judge in equity, and I've accepted an appointment as a judge in equity. He was beside himself with delight.
He had a lot to be proud of, certainly. I just wanted to backtrack slightly. Did you ever at any stage entertain notions of perhaps a career in academe instead of going onto the bench?
No. I couldn't wait to get on with my practice at the bar and to get my own clients, and then I was longing to get a judicial appointment where I could have the fun of judging. I enjoyed both the advocacy side of my life and then the judicial side of deciding. And I refer to my 10 years as an equity judge as the times when I was a real judge. I sat in court every day at a busy court, very good barristers. Many of them had read with me, including Murray Gleeson. He was a mixed pupil, but Priestley, Handley, they'd read with me when I was a senior junior. So I knew them well. It was like almost a gathering of friends. And I worked very much on the bench with a climate of goodwill. You mentioned earlier on that, but it was a climate of goodwill, and it's in that climate of goodwill that you do your best work, both as a barrister and as a judge.
Sir Laurence, just before we discuss in more detail your time on the bench, I just wanted to touch briefly on the fact that between 1964 and 1965, you were a commander and inaugural senior officer of the Royal Australian Navy Reserve Legal Branch, which I know you regarded as an important time of your life.
Yes. In the Voyager Royal Commission, it became obvious that the Navy was at a disadvantage in that it didn't have within its own establishment any practical awareness of legal trends. And this was a Royal Commission with a lot of big issues in stake, a lot of reputations. And the then Prime Minister Menzies was furious that this had happened. And it was a very delicate area. And the Navy was lacking inside commercial tactical wisdom of how to handle court issues. And I was able to turn that to good account in the interest of the deceased captain of Voyager. It was a fascinating time for me. After that finished, you probably read this somewhere. After it was over, the then Chief of the Navy, Admiral Harrington, asked me to go and see him, and he said, "Street, that was a disaster for the Navy, that Royal Commission." He said, "The Naval Board have asked me to ask you whether you would accept an appointment, promotion to the rank of commander, and appointment as the senior officer of a newly to be formed Navy Reserve legal panel." And I said, "Well, what can I say?" So where we went, and that legal stature then enabled me then to do some worthwhile work in establishing the Navy Reserve legal panel. So I had to relinquish it when I went on the bench. But it was great fun.